And a very happy new year to you and welcome. You're watching News Central Television. It's time for news now. I am Judith at TV. The top stories at this hour. President Tinubu promises massive food production, 15% inflation target in 2025. Nigeria invites Niger Republic's dictator for talks to address tensions over sabotage claims. Senegal's president declares end to hosting foreign military bases from 2025. Details shortly. And News Center now at this hour begins with President Bola Tinubu's New Year's Day message to Nigerians. The president has assured Nigerians of the government's determination to boost food production, curb inflation, and strengthen the economy in 2025. In his New Year message to the nation, Tinubu outlined key economic achievements from 2024, including lower fuel prices, rising foreign reserves, and a stronger Naira. He described these as positive indicators that would continue to drive progress into the new year. The president also noted that the Nigerian stock market experienced record growth, creating trillions of Naira in wealth. He attributed the surge in foreign investment to renewed confidence in the nation's economy. He, however, acknowledged the persistent challenges posed by inflation and the rising cost of essential goods, particularly food and medical supplies, which affected many households in 2024. Now, Tinubu pledged to intensify efforts to reduce inflation from its current rate of 34.6% to 15%. He emphasized the importance of reforms aimed at boosting local food production and manufacturing essential drugs to achieve this goal. Still on the new year, former Vice-President Atiku Abubakar has called on Nigerians to unite for good governance in 2025. In his New Year message, Atiku urged Nigerians to remain vigilant and actively monitor the actions of political leaders to ensure that they are held accountable. He emphasized that 2025 offers an opportunity to reshape and redefine the national dialogue, encouraging citizens to play an active role in safeguarding the country's democracy. Atiku stressed the importance of holding political leaders accountable regardless of party affiliation and ensuring that no one holds unchecked power that could erode liberties and lead to further exploitation of public office. Christian faithfuls in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, have expressed optimism that the year 2025 will be better than 2024. Now, this was during a crossover service at the Transforming Church in Abuja, where many of them gathered to usher in the new year. Amadi was there and tells us more.
It was a packed-filled service as Christian faithful converged for a crossover into the new year. Here at the Transforming Church in Abuja, they all listened attentively to the sermon, a key pillar of support needed for 2025.
Material life is inferior. Academic life is inferior. The life Jesus came to give us is the life of the Father. It is what makes God God. When you carry away, the child of a poor man can become the wealthiest in the city. When you carry away, even if your mother and your father were not educated, your brain can be supernaturally repositioned to function at a level of intelligence that human beings can comprehend.
The key moment came as it clocked 12 midnight. Many of them expressed the moment with joy and the dance. Some expressed their delight for being ushered into the new year.
That's the feeling. I'm excited, really excited.
Trust me, the feelings is so much overwhelming when we look at how far we came from 2024, and just today we have marked the new year 2025. It's a feeling of a new beginning because things we actually encountered 2024 wouldn't be the same again for 2025.
Voila, we're in the year 2025, and as Pastor has already declared, this is our year of manifesting the God kind of life, the life of Zoe.
They also took time to highlight their expectations for 2025.
I really expect to be a
to get a more better version of myself, to be more expressive, and then I also really expect that my loved ones, my friends, they would be more expressive and then be a better version of themselves.
I know the country was struggling in terms of economics and every other part, insecurity and stuff like that, but we are here now in the new year with a new thing, and I believe we are going to start strong.
What I'm looking out for is more of God's blessings. As a matter of fact, 2025 is over for me. Like, I've lived 2025. I'm just looking forward to 2026. I mean, if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, forget about it.
2024 was a very interesting year, but we hope for the best this new year. I'm excited about 2025.
The pastor of the Transforming Church had a word for government and Nigerians.
We all need to keep hope alive whilst we keep praying for the government and hope that the government will continue to do the very best possible in the interest of the citizens of this country.
With 2024 now in the past, many here will be hoping that 2025 bets better opportunities and an improvement in the nation's economy. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Some residents of Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory has urged citizens to imbibe the virtues of optimism, hope, and also resilience as they enter the 2025 year. Now, this was during the 2024 into 2025 crossover service to usher in the new year in the Celestial Church of Christ Central Cathedral in Abuja. Our correspondent Joshua Marayu was there and filed in this report. Take a look.
1st of January, a date that symbolizes renewal.
Well, it's New Year's Day here in Lagos, the commercial nerve center of Nigeria. And of course, people are still going about their regular businesses. Lagos, like they say, never sleeps. From the pedestrian bridge here in Berger, we've been able to meet and speak with Lagosians. Some are optimistic of the new year. Some are sad that 2024 was tough, while others believe that 2024 was a very good year for them. Some say they made profits, some say they made losses, depending on the kind of businesses they've done. Now, while some believe that prayers will make things better, others are of the belief that life comes with good and bad. It's left for you to pick what you want.
Actually, I'm not celebrating. I'll just go home and just rest. 2024 was not really good. It was filled with ups and downs, but all through it, I scaled through. Okay, I have some plans I've already set for 2025.
The atmosphere was electrifying as Nigerians welcomed the year 2025 with dancing and jubilation at the Celestial Church of Christ Central Cathedral in Nigeria's federal capital. For many worshippers, it was a moment of rededication as they observe one of the Christian faith's sacraments, the first Holy Communion of the year.
In the name of Jesus, we declare the newness of God into you in Jesus' name.
For some worshippers, marking the new year is a significant milestone. They say Nigerians need to remain hopeful and cheerful despite the economic challenges facing the nation.
Indeed, we should be happy, and we are indeed very, very happy in the sense that it is a grace, it's mercy we have enjoyed to cross into 2025. Many want to see today, they are not alive. So it's a rare privilege, grace that we have to see today. And that's why we need to be happy. The joy of Christ is in us, that yes, we are in another new year, and we are praising him for his mercy, for his grace upon our life.
Our message is to continue to persevere, that it will be well with us. The economy will pick up. It has been hard. The past year was hard. But we believe that in 2025 is going to be good.
Other Christian faithful who attended the service shared their expectation and admonition to fellow citizens and government as they cross over into the new year.
And this is a new year with new resolution, with new thinking and new expectation. As a Nigerian, I pray that our leaders will see us as members of this family, that we see us as what they are there for, So they think of us so that my life can be more meaningful.
For encouragement, I just want to charge Nigerians that the fact that we are alive is an assurance that God is not done with us yet, and there is hope. When there is life, there is hope. So I preach hope to Nigerians, and I want them to know that this year is going to be filled with a lot of comfort, peace, and the grace of God as usual.
At the Celestial Church of Christ in the Federal Capital Territory, worshippers ushered in the new year with messages of hope, peace, resilience, and patience, urging Nigerians to remain steadfast as they navigate the challenges of 2025. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarayi.
Apologize first for that mix-up in the report earlier. In the meantime, some residents of Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory has urged citizens to imbibe the virtues, and that's just what you saw here from Joshua Imarayi, their reporter in Abuja. We continue with more update regarding the New Year celebrations. Now, some residents in Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory has urged citizens to imbibe the virtues of optimism, hope, and resilience as they enter the 2025 year. Now, this was during the 2024 into 2025 crossover service to usher in the new year at the Celestial Church of Christ Central Cathedral. That's a report you just saw. Like I said earlier, moving now to Lagos. As the clock struck midnight, Lagosians joined millions around the world to bid farewell to 2024 and embrace the promise of a fresh start in 2025 for many in Lagos. The New Year Eve is more than just a celebration. It's a time for reflection, for gratitude, and also for renewed hope. Now, in this report, News Central's Chidima takes a closer look at how Lagosians spent their crossover night and their expectations for the year ahead.
1st of January, a date that symbolizes renewal, resolutions, and the hope of brighter days ahead. In Lagos, the crossover into the new year is a deeply personal and spiritual experience for many. Churches across the city were packed to capacity as families gathered to offer prayers, sing hymns, and seek divine guidance for the year ahead. However, not everyone marked the occasion within the walls of a church. Across Lagos, fireworks illuminated the night sky, signaling celebrations in homes and on the streets.
I spent my crossover on the streets of Okpebi, but I went to church because that's important. All through the years, no church, no going, also for the country. One day, you guys go church, go thank God.
I spend my crossover at the church. I want a better life for myself, a better life for my country. You understand? We are passing a tough time right now in the country. The economy is very bad.
Despite the different ways of celebrating the moment, a common thread unites all Nigerians. This shared sense of hope inspired some Lagosians to voice their aspirations for 2025.
My hope for the new year is, firstly, I want to grow, I want to have intimacy with God, and I want to grow in my business, I want my visibility for my brand.
My expectation is to lay a solid foundation with God. And secondly, is to have access to many things, as in go and experience many more as a mass communication student.
For many spiritual leaders, this time of the year is an opportunity to speak encouragement and resilience into their congregations, urging Nigerians to approach 2025 with faith and determination.
God is in charge. Now, when we say that, people think that we are not accepting certain hard realities. We do. But we also will never agree that you do not need the hand of God. Somehow, some way, in the midst of all this, God is still able to turn things around for us.
I believe that God will strengthen His church in 2025. The church will move from glory to glory, and from Nigeria, God will visit Nigeria.
As Lagos awakens to a brand new year, the air is charged with optimism and resolve. Whether through prayer or celebration, one thing is clear. Lagosians are ready to embrace 2025 with renewed energy, unwavering hope, and a determination to make it their best year yet. In Lagos, reporting for News Central, I am Chidima Ona.
As Nigerians usher in the new year, nutrition experts are encouraging citizens to adopt healthier eating habits to improve overall well-being. Dietitians say making small but consistent changes, like incorporating more vegetables, fruits, and whole grains into daily meals, can significantly boost energy levels and prevent lifestyle diseases. They advise reducing processed foods and sugary drinks, emphasizing hydration with water instead. The call aligns with the growing need to combat rising cases of diabetes, hypertension, and obesity in the country, fostering a healthier future for all. And now to discuss this, we're joined by Dr. Chika Amadi. She is the doctor is international board. She is international board certified lifestyle medicine physician. And she joins us live from Lagos, Nigeria. Dr. Amadi, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you for doing this with us. I mean, let's just get started. Practical, affordable ways that Nigerians can, incorporate healthier food is laudable, but with given the rising cost of living, how best can they, incorporate these suggestions into their diet?
So thank you so much for having me. One thing I always say is it's still cheaper to eat healthier than to pay hospital bills. So that's the first mindset everyone has to have, that, okay, can I eat better so that I spend less time out of the hospital? And one way you can incorporate healthier meals is by eating foods that are in season. This is not the time to say, oh, I don't like to eat this, or I don't like that. You just have to like it, whether you like it or not. So what is in season around you in your location? What is in season in Lagos sometimes is different from what's available in Jos or in somewhere like in the East. You eat what vegetables are available to you. Vegetables are so good, especially leafy greens. This is not the time you're in Lagos and you say, oh, I don't like green, I don't like efo. Eat it. In the East, ugu is cheaper. Eat that. In the in the North, aleho is cheaper. Eat that. Whatever green vegetable is available to you, enjoy that. And whatever fruits are in season, it's cheaper to eat fruits that are in season than looking for mango in December. So eat fruits that are in season. That's another way to incorporate. I think we can also, if anyone that has a space around their house or even the cement bags, you can start some minor planting. There's this vegetable I like talking about, efo yanapaja, and I say it grows very wildly and you can use it for anything, literally. I knew about that in Lagos, and when I just planted one stalk, it grew very wildly. That's something you can incorporate in every meal to improve your health. And that's what everyone has to be intentional with. When you're thirsty, drink water. Water quenches thirst, not looking for some cold chilled drink. That's another thing that can actually change the game in your health this year.
And then what common dietary habits in Nigeria contribute to lifestyle diseases like diabetes and hypertension? And how can they be addressed?
We're very salty people, very salty. We like our food has to be sweet, in quotes. We associate sweet with the amount of, seasonings, cubes and salt, and salt don't take this food, you're calling some cubes don't take this food. But it's important that it's already evidence has shown that the amount of sodium you're eating can impact on your blood pressure. So we need to cut down on how much salt we take. And one thing I tell people is your taste buds actually change every 14 to 21 days. So you have to allow your taste buds to condition to the new taste that you are trying to adopt, because now it's a new year, you're adopting new habits. So you want to adopt new taste. So allow your taste buds to change that. I'm going to be taking less salt now. I'm not going to put in so much seasoning cubes in my food. And then I'm going to be enjoying more natural spices. So your Iru is very nice. Enjoying your scent leaf, cooking with scent leaf can go with every food. Enjoying just going to the market and open, not regular open market is in Ikotun, open market, and go pick different spices and play with them. It doesn't have to be spices in packs. And those will improve your health. Reducing we like fry. If it's not akara, it has to be, fried, everything. You are frying the egusi, you are frying the jollof. We need to stop frying a lot. That is very important. And then when we are hungry, just eat food. Eat soup and swallow. It's better than going for some quick traffic snack. I don't want to call any names, but you know what I'm talking about. So it's better than that. And those will reduce our risk for high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes, which is currently plaguing the country. So we need to be intentional like that. And of course, increasing fruits and vegetables. Evidence has shown that having as much as 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day reduces your risk of any form of heart disease by up to 25%. So see what that one can do. Then let's talk about, if we talk about exercising, intentionally walking, intentionally, instead of taking a bike to this place, you just walk it. Instead of taking the keke to this place, you walk it. You're walking not because of suffer head. You're walking because you want to improve your health. You're walking because you're intentional with your health. So that should be the mindset.
And then we love our traditional foods, right? Whether it's, our foriro and, eba, or our amala, or tuwo shinkafa and, our groundnut soup, or edikaiko, with our yellow gari. We actually do love, our traditional food, or stash and banga soup. But how can individuals balance, traditional Nigerian meals with modern nutritional advice for better health? Because there's this misconception that Nigerian food in and of itself is not healthy.
Oh, that's a misconception, because Nigerian food is healthy. The problem is how we make it. We really do not need all that oil that is floating on top of our afang or on top of our edikaiko. We don't need that oil.
No, that's how they taught us to make it too.
Our effort does not need to be dancing in oil. We just need to change.
I'm a woman from the South. That's how they taught us to make our afang soup. If the leaf is not swimming in oil, if you're not scooping the oil at the top, you're not doing anything. That's an integral part of the soup.
So I think we need to change that conception. It's a thing, yeah. The way when our parents taught us, our parents were more intentional with, they don't even do exercise. They just walk by default.
Yes.
They move by default. They sleep by 9 o'clock by default.
Yes.
Or some of them will sleep immediately after 9 o'clock news. They are asleep.
Yes.
But we're still awake till 1 o'clock on traffic. We are in this era. We are more exposed to. Our parents were not doing a lot of sitting behind a laptop. So they were moving intentionally, and they were eating more fresh vegetables, their foods closer to the ground. They had more land to farm. We do not have all those excesses. We don't have all those access. We need to modify with our current climate, which is we're doing a lot of sedentary work. We're doing a lot of hard work. We're sleeping less. So we cannot be eating like our ancestors. So you're saying that we learned that we now need to modify that a bit and see, can you reduce the oil in your soup? Your egusi does not have to be swimming in red oil. It really doesn't need to. We don't need to fry the tomato so that the taste will go out when you're making your jollof. We don't need that. You can enjoy your jollof without the excess frying. You can enjoy all your soups without the excess oils and excess frying. Once we cut that down, and of course, reducing the amount of salt, we just keep putting salt until you hear a voice tell you, okay, my child, you have to reduce the salt. Stop salt up. So we don't measure the salt. We need to be more intentional with all that.
I mean, Doctor, I must say thank you so much for taking out the time today to just have this conversation with us. For everyone whose New Year resolution is to eat healthier and live healthier lifestyle, I'm very certain they have picked one thing on the another. But Doctor, many thanks again. Our guest today is Dr. Chika Amadi. She joined us in just to give us a bit of insight when it comes to healthier eating and healthier living going into 2025. You're watching News Now on News Central Television. We're going to a short break. When we return, U.S. court orders release of seized $6 million arms funds to Nigeria. We have the details after the break. Join us again. The federal government has expressed its readiness for constructive dialogue with the leadership of the Republic of Niger in a bid to de-escalate the growing diplomatic tensions between the two nations. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tungar, stated in a release on Tuesday that Nigeria is committed to fostering peace and stability in West Africa. He emphasized the need for candid discussions to address mutual concerns raised by the President of the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland in Niger Republic, General Abdurrahman Chiani. Chiani had accused Nigeria of collaborating with France to destabilize his junta-led government. In a Christmas Day interview, he alleged that France had forged alliances with militant groups in the Lake Chad region to undermine Niger's security, claiming Nigeria was complicit in this scheme. And now to discuss this, we're joined by African Affairs Analyst Chika Amadi. Mr. Chude, many thanks for joining us. I mean, let's just get started because we're pressed for time. How might the ongoing diplomatic tensions between Nigeria and Niger impact regional security in West Africa? I mean, particularly in context of the fight against terrorism and other transnational threats.
Yeah, well, transnational threats, that's the expression you use. Transnational simply tells you that it's beyond borders, it's beyond a particular country's, territorial territory. And so some of these threats that we're seeing, are happening across borders. And so there is that necessity, absolutely necessary that countries that are experiencing the issue of, cross-border crimes, insurgency, by Islamists or some other groups, must work together, must cooperate together, must collaborate together to be able to bring some level of sanity to these countries. Obviously, the fact that crime has gone is now an international issue also implies that every decision, every effort, every attempt to stem it must have an international dimension to it. Nation states must collaborate together at every level, either at the level of the funding and financing of violent activities or terrorist activities. They must work together to ensure that access to some of these groups from one part of the world to the other through money laundering and other means are curtailed. And the only way that can happen is if nations are able to collaborate at various levels to be able to stem the tide. And so it is very, very fundamental that these countries work together. They have no choice. It is a matter of mutual interest that they work together because they face a common interest from these, militant and radical and violent organizations.
Right. Let's also talk about the potential economic, consequences and what they might be with this strained relationship that we're now seeing between Nigeria and Niger. How might this affect trade, investment, and even cross-border movement between the two countries?
Well, before it's not the issue of negative economic situations between both countries, is not something that is as a result of this new tension between Niger and Nigeria, with them accusing Nigeria of collaborating with France to undermine Niger. Already that has been affected by the fact of the pullout of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali from ECOWAS. That has obviously economic impact on the negative side. Because, of course, that in a way, it becomes an obstacle and a stumbling block for ECOWAS, because ECOWAS was set up to ensure collaboration at both the political, economic level, and even at the cultural level across all the countries that make up the ECOWAS. So the fact that some of these countries have pulled out of ECOWAS actually has caused a very big problem that was unenvisaged by everybody. And so that has serious economic bearing on the countries that pulled out and the countries that they pulled out from, because there's been all manners of relationships between these countries. Of course, in some of the countries, you find out that there is some level of homogeneity between citizens, especially at the border areas of one country and the bordering, communities from the other country. And so there is this historical link that citizens of different countries have with one another. that has been affected by this impasse between ECOWAS and these three countries. And then at the economic level, there is no way, especially these countries that will not be affected, because there has been a common, financial agreement and collaboration and cooperation between all the countries in West Africa. The movement of goods and services and people, has also been affected drastically. And that was why when these countries decided to finalize their pullout from ECOWAS starting from late January, they on their own unilaterally, continue to, made declarations to the effect that the visas will still be available free to citizens from a fellow ECOWAS countries, because they know themselves that it will be economically suicidal for them to completely pull out of, to stop any manner of interaction between the peoples and businesses across, these three countries and then the remaining ECOWAS countries. No man, it is said, is an island. No nation also is an island. Even the most powerful nation on earth need other nations for them to be able to do well economically.
You talked about, the international community, and let's talk about their role now. This has to do with the African Union, the AU, and even the United Nations. How will they play in, mediating the situation and facilitating dialogue between Nigeria and Niger, should the time come?
Well, it will depend on whether there's an exacerbation of a crisis or whether this tension. Right now, what you have is tension. You might not exactly call it a crisis. It has not gotten to that crisis point. And that's why leaders on both sides are beginning to talk. But the thing is, for Niger, when Niger makes it, because it's a very grievous allegation that Niger is making against Nigeria. Nigeria does not have a history of destabilizing, member countries, African countries. Nigeria, does not have, it's not in the character of Nigeria. If one has to be truthful about, has to say it as it is. The reality is that Africa has continued to be the center point of Nigeria's, foreign relationships, with the world, essentially Africa, then from Africa to the rest of the world, and so I do not expect any intervention, whether by the United Nations or the African Union, because it has not gotten to that level. There is still a mutually, respectful. We are still in a mutually respectful environment in terms of both countries. And so, when the Nigerian leader made that statement, I'm sure that the Nigerian leaders also made overtures to them, so that they can sit down and they also talk. And of course, that Nigeria has responded as seriously to this matter, describing it as illusionary, and that there is nothing of such. If Niger, the way these things happen, if they are serious about these allegations, then it is expected that when they meet with the Nigerian authorities, they will show Nigerian authorities proof of interference, proof of collusion and collaboration with France. Over to justify the accusations that they are making. And I'm not sure that they have that proof. Who knows? I don't really think that they do have the proof, but you never can tell.
All right. Well, I must say thank you so much for taking out the time, Mr. Chika Amadi, for just giving us a bit more insight. African Affairs Analyst there, Chika Amadi, just a bit of insight on the Nigeria, Niger, just the role going between the two countries. Once again, thank you. And now back home now, as the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory has assured that several completed key access roads within the capital will be completed in January of 2025. The minister, during the inspection of the roads, commended the contractors for keeping to the schedule within their contractual terms, lauding the quality of the roads seen on ground.
Here we are in Saburi. You recollect that the contractors promised that by December they will hand over these projects. To the glory of God, round, you've seen that the project has been completed. So the one in Abuja, which is also done by Kremburg, and then the other two done by Centraco and Gilmore. From the report I have, is remaining only one, that's almost 95%. The other ones have been completed. So we believe by the grace of God, after the altitude, that we'll be able to commission this project to come this January.
Nigeria has won a protracted legal battle to recover over $6 million in arms funds that have been seized by the United States government since 2014. The funds were confiscated from an arms broker attempting to supply military equipment from the U.S. to Nigeria without the necessary license. The U.S. government argued that the broker's involvement in the sale, export, and supply of military products to Nigeria without authorization violated the Arms Export Control Act, resulting in the seizure of the funds. However, the U.S. District Court for Eastern California has ordered the release of the funds amounting to approximately $6.02 million after confirming Nigeria's legitimate interest in the money. You're watching News Now on News Center Television. Coming up, Senegal pledges to end foreign military presence in 2025. And that's this year. We have the details after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. Senegal's President Bassirou Diomaye Faye has announced that all foreign military presence in the country will cease by 2025, marking a pivotal step towards fulfilling his promise of safeguarding national sovereignty. In his New Year's address, Faye reaffirmed his administration's commitment to reducing dependency on foreign powers, a central pledge of his campaign when he assumed office in April. The announcement builds on his November directive requiring France, Senegal's former colonial ruler, to shut down its military bases in the West African nation. At the time, Faye argued that the presence of French forces was incompatible with Senegal's sovereignty. However, Faye stressed that the decision does not signify a diplomatic rift with France, setting Senegal apart from other West African nations that have taken similar actions in recent years.
D'ores et déjà, j'ai instruit le ministre des Forces armées de proposer une nouvelle doctrine de coopération en matière de défense et de sécurité, impliquant, entre autres conséquences, la fin de toutes les présences militaires de pays étrangers au Sénégal dès 2025.
2024 has been a remarkable year for South Africa in 2024, from the political stirrings to South Africa's ongoing commitment to human rights and social justice, followed by vibrant celebrations of June 16th commemorations to the struggles of the country's youth and many other stories. Now, 2024 has indeed been a roller coaster of challenges and achievements for South Africa, the country. Now, News Center's Bongani Ziziba has more. Take a look.
Unfolded, South Africa found itself at the crossroads of change, excitement, and reflection, with political fervor as preparations for May 29 elections took to center stage. The ruling party, the ANC, framed its campaign around achievements and promises, urging citizens to recognize their contributions.
That will continue to provide enough resources to enable the government to support the livelihoods of our people.
While the opposition parties focused on denouncing the ANC's record, igniting passionate debates on the future of the governance. In this heated political climate, a new player emerged, Jacob Zuma's MK party. Hailed as the fresh voice, this party quickly stirred the political pot. It promised voters it would create jobs and tackle crime. MK caused a political shift between the ruling ANC and the main opposition parties, the Democratic Alliance and the Julius Malema's Red Berets, which later led to the formation of the Government of National Unity. Amid all the politicking, South Africa took strides forward in human rights advocacy, hosting a landmark conference in March 2024 that underscored the nation's commitment to justice and equality. The Pan-African Parliament also witnessed a shift in leadership from the 20th to the 27th of March 2024 at the Parliament's headquarters in Midrand. They elected the executive and new members were sworn in. In the world of trade, the Black Business Industrial Conference in March drew attention to the accomplishments and challenges faced by entrepreneurs in South Africa, demonstrating resilience and innovation. In April, the annual Rand Show brought lightened moments to the nation. The exhibition took place at the Nasrec Center in Johannesburg. September 2024, a two-day aviation summit also took flight, exploring the future of the air travel and its pivotal role in the economic growth. However, not all stories had closure. The long-awaited justice in the Senzo Meyiwa trial still hangs in the balance, with many beginning to wonder whether justice will ever truly be served. In a lighter moment, art lovers celebrated the timeless brilliance of the icon Dr. Esther Mahlangu on her birthday on the 11th of November as she turned 89, reminding the world of her contributions to the art industry and how her vibrant work continues to place Africa on the global stage. In the world of sports, South Africa's talent shone as athletes returned from the international arena for the Olympics that was held between July 26 to August 11 in Paris. They brought medals, while the Paralympics trio also showcased their determination and the skill that inspired millions. But not all has been well. In the Northwest, tensions continue to mount over delays in rescuing trapped miners at Stilfontein mine. Still in December, President Cyril Ramaphosa launched the G20 presidents and then engaged in a pivotal diplomatic meeting with Nigerian President Bola Tinubu. With the G20 presidents on the horizon, the arrival of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in the same month underscores South Africa's critical role in the international relations and cooperative efforts for global progress. 2024 may have been a year of challenges and triumphs, but the spirit of unity and hope resonates within every South African's heart as they look forward with the expectation that 2025 will be a better year. In Johannesburg for News Central, Bongani Siziba.
The Nigeria Basketball Federation has commenced preparations for the final qualifying window of the 2025 FIBA Men's Afro-Basket Competition Championship set to take place in Libya. Nigeria, four-time Afro-Basket silver medalist, must secure at least 2 wins from 3 games to qualify for the tournament in Luanda, Angola, scheduled for the 12th and to the 24th of August. The NBBF plans to assemble a squad comprising both home and foreign-based players to compete for one of 2 remaining Group B tickets. President Musa Kida and Vice President Babatunde Ogunade emphasized the need for timely funding of the National Sports Commission. With Cape Verde likely to qualify, Nigeria's hope depend on outperforming Uganda and host Libya in this crucial stage. Now, Stoke City has named Mark Rubens as their new manager, replacing interim boss Ryan Shawcross after Wednesday's match against Burnley. Now, Rubens, who was previously Coventry City's manager, he has now signed a 3.5-year deal, becoming Stoke's third full-time coach this season, following the dismissals of both Stephen and Nasir Palic. Now, during his nearly 8 years at Coventry, Robbins achieved 2 promotions and guided the team to the FA Cup semi-finals last season. However, he was sacked in November after winning just 4 of Coventry's first 14 league games this season. Stoke currently 18th in the championship with 6 wins from 24 matches. Hope Robbins can replicate his success at Coventry and establish a lasting identity at the club. What performance. Anyway, moving away from that, KT Boltre secured Great Britain's place in the United Cup quarter-finals with a dominant 6-2, 6-1 victory over Australia's Olivier Gadecki in Sydney, Australia. Now, her straight sets win in the opening match secured Great Britain finished as Group F winners. It ensured that Great Britain finished as Group F winners, advancing ahead of Argentina and host Australia by winning the most sets in the group. While Australia claimed the remaining 2 rubbers, including Alex de Minaur's win over Billy Harrison at a mixed doubles triumph, Britain's earlier performance sealed their progression. And that's all we can take at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. President Bola Tinubu has promised massive food production 15% inflation target for 2025. Nigeria has invited Niger Republic's dictator for talks to address tensions over sabotage claims. And Senegal's president has declared end to hosting foreign military bases from 2025. Now remember that you can watch News Central live all through this new year on DSTV channel 422. You can also find us on Star Times channel 274. Go on to YouTube and catch us, stream us live on there. We're also on Avo TV, by the way. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith at TV. Bye for now.